Well, good Wednesday morning, friends. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here, and let's wake up the football gods. How you guys doing here? It's hump day. It is the middle of the week, and summer's over. Technically, it's not till the 21st, but once Labor Day happens, we all know it is now. The kids are back in school. Football is back. And look down here, guys. Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Look at that. Just look at that. You know what I should do? I should just go ahead and just have the camera set up and just live stream the countdown clock. Just let it count down to the beginning of the season. And just let that run. In fact, I might do that. I might just do that so we can watch. Because tomorrow night, we've got the Rams versus the Bills. One of those teams is going to be starting out the season 0-1. Both of those teams, of course, have Super Bowl aspirations. Buffalo seeming to have work that's unfinished. The Rams coming off of a Super Bowl. And the Rams already feisty. They're literally ready to fight in practice. And then there's the Cowboys in the NFC East. The thing that's kind of interesting to me is I believe we have no idea what this team is actually going to look like. This team is going to be a great mystery going into the first couple of weeks of the season. And I don't know how anybody can honestly say that they know exactly what they're doing that's outside of that building. Let's think about this for a second. First of all, we have not seen the whole team, offense or defense, play together. Of course, you know, we've all been at training camp and we broke down plays and things that we've seen, individual matchups and so on, right? But I think that's barely scratching the surface of what we have. You know, we've seen Dak Prescott going deep with people. We've seen Dak Prescott, you know, hitting Dalton Schultz and hitting Jake Ferguson and things like that. You know, we've heard about Tony Pollard lining up in the slot. You know, now we've heard about Turpin, who's going to be a receiver as well. But we don't actually know what all of these pieces are going to look like together. Something that kind of sits with me, and I wonder, because we don't see all of the practices. Cowboys work, you know, of course, we see them out on the field doing this, that, and the other. We don't honestly know what they do behind closed doors. And for me, Connor McGovern was working exclusively as the starter at guard. To really get him ramped up, it was almost like they knew something, or maybe they just anticipated that we're going to have problems with Tyron Smith. We hear that he hasn't practiced tackle, you know, to basically undersell what he's doing. We've been told that, but we don't really know. Now again, he's working on the left side. What you have to understand is the guard and the center, of course, have to work together because, of course, combination blocks and double teams and getting off to the second level, pulling around and everything else. And in the same way, the left guard and the left tackle have to work together. You're not in a vacuum when you're on the offensive line. You have to understand the philosophy of what they're trying to do, not just what your assignment is. You know, if you're talking about doing like a Pete trap, okay, you got to understand that my job is I'm going to be pulling down the line and going where the other guard was, you know. If it's like a Z, for example, what we used to call in high school, where the guard and the center are double teaming the nose, and the other guard is pulling behind their ass to take the tackle. Quick hit and boom. You have to understand that's what I'm doing. You have to understand that when the tackle ends up basically saying, I'm passing this guy down to you because there's another guy on the outside, he's blocking out, you've got to block out too. So you have to work with the tackle and understand what the tackle is doing as a guard. So when you look at this from the standpoint of saying, oh my God, he's played guard and now he's got to go to tackle. Well, the good thing is he's been working at left guard and left tackle. Why is that important? That's important because I will say this. If I sign my name, Mark Holmes, with my right hand, and then try and do it with my left hand, I can do it, but not that my right hand is any good, but you can see what it looks like with the left hand. Not real good. Not real good at all. And that's the same thing about being an offensive lineman, because everything is reversed. I would be more concerned if Tyler Smith was playing right guard and having to go play left tackle. What you have to understand is everything leans on the outside. If you're on the left side, everything leans here. My first kick step is with my left leg. When you switch up to the right, now it's reversed. Now everything's coming off of really this eye and this side. You know, that big push is the right arm versus the left. You follow me? Because you could look at when we had last year Terrence Steele playing on the right-hand side. You didn't hear Terrence Steele's name called, which is what you want to have for an offensive lineman. If you know the offensive lineman's name, it's because they're not doing their job, because they're getting beat, because they're having penalties. We all heard Connor Williams a lot of times last year. We heard Lyle Collins a lot of times last year. We didn't hear Terrence Steele that much. Quietly, great offensive lineman. You don't know. And for example, Zach Martin, who has more Pro Bowls than he has holding penalties. Perfect example. He's a guy most people don't know, but he's one of the best. When Terrence Steele went from the right to the left, that kind of created some problems because now it's the learning curve of now working on the other side. So I feel better about that. We don't know how much mental reps and work, and this is where football really is now. It's really not so much working out on the field as it is walkthroughs and mental reps. And then on Sunday, you take that and you go full speed. I actually feel better understanding that left guard to left tackle. It's not as big of a change as you think. But it seems like we have heard so many different things and so many different combinations of who's going to be playing or what they're going to. We really don't know. We saw, Cooper Rush doing 12 personnel where they literally had an incredible drive with it. It was like textbook perfect. They set the defense up the whole way. The defense was trying to play catch up, and that's what you want as an offense. But we really don't know what to expect. I don't. I expect that Zeke Elliott's going to be running the ball a lot, that we're going to try and establish dominance with the offensive line, and with Tyler Smith, he's a better run blocker than pass blocker. So you want to use that strength. You've got another great blocker in Jake Ferguson, who now has changed his number from 48, I forgot, to the new number. But you've got that guy who's going to be a great blocker, who's young, who can catch the football as well. And so I think we're going to see, instead of the three wideouts and everything else like we used to, you'll see more two receiver sets. You'll see more 12 personnel. You'll see more two back sets and one tight end. And we'll give teams something new to think about as opposed to the same old Cowboys. And I'm actually excited to see what they do come out with. Because the wild card in this equation is, as much as you guys want to trash Dak and things, Dak played with the multitude of injuries last year and still thrived. Between coming back from a catastrophic ankle injury to having a pulled calf muscle, shoulder issues, and still had 37 TDs is freaking amazing, a Dallas Cowboys record. This year, he's got another weapon in that toolbox. He's got his legs now. He's slimmer, he's trimmer, he's faster, he's stronger, and his mechanics are really there. And so now you've got the RPOs. Now you've got the bootlegs and moving the pockets. There's a multitude of things that you can do. And now Dak is kind of like the perfect storm of having the experience, having a bit of mystery on what they're going to do, having the ability, having the reps, and now having the health. That Dak will be the great equalizer, and that will help out the offensive line. Defensively, oh my God. I really don't know what to expect on the defense because we have so many different combinations and things that we can do. Are we a 3-4? Are we a 4-3? Well, with the 3-4, you need three big guys on the defensive line. We got that. Tristan Hill, Quentin Bohannon, Neville Gallimore. You've got edge rushers galore. Forget about Randy Gregory. I think we're actually in better shape without Randy Gregory with the guys that we brought in. Dorrance Armstrong with another year to having a chance to grow. You've got a Golston that you can rotate in. You got a Terrell Basham you can put in there. You've got a Dante Fowler. And then you've got Micah Parsons, who we know is a goal-oriented guy. He is a guy who puts in the work, who now understands what he's doing. He's not a deer caught in the headlights. And you even have good linebackers. You have great defensive backs. You have defense where you look at it and say, I don't know where the weakness really is on this. Question will be is, how does the mad scientist put it all together? I don't know. But I'm going to stay tuned this weekend and see how it all goes. So Stephen A. Smith, doing what he likes to do, which is trash the Cowboys. What can go wrong will go wrong. Calls into my buddy, Rich Eisen. I like Rich Eisen's show. Let's listen to Stephen A. Smith. I know it's painful, but let's do it.
When the season ends, do you think? Or like on a...
He'll be as miserable as he always does. I will give him a lot of credit for his intestinal resolve. Somehow, some way, no matter the consistent amount of years of ineptitude, the perpetual state of affairs that involves the Dallas Cowboys, somehow, some way, he's their number one cheerleader, their number one pom-pom waver. The minute they lose and they go home, give him about an hour or two, and he'll say, we're gonna win the Super Bowl next year. That's what he does. They probably get it from him, but in the end, there's no hope. We all know what's going to happen to the Cowboys ahead of time, and you'll be chronicling it throughout each Sunday on Sunday mornings, and I'll be watching because I'll be listening and looking for the nonsensical drivel that he's going to put forth out there over the national airwaves, and I'll be chronicling it all just to hold against him. I already got him on one thing. I don't know if you missed it. I don't know if you saw this. August 15th, my first day back.
Yes.
Michael Irvin sat up there and compared these upcoming Dallas Cowboys to the 1972 Miami Dolphins.
Oh, man, I missed that.
Who were undefeated. He's on the record talking about if they're healthy, you watch. They might not lose a game. Those were his words. I have it on tape.
Maybe he just got confused that he was on the water and he thought he was in South Florida, Stephen A. That could have been it.
I don't give a damn what kind of confusion he was going through. I'm not going to credit him with that. I'm going to hold it against him all year long because we all know they're going to lose a few games. He's going to be wrong several times.
Well, I mean, and I know the Cowboys are popular and for many reasons, but, I mean, when you just take a look at it and their top wide receiver could be just the only wide receiver who's caught a pass of significance in their room while Michael Gallup is hurt. And you got a 40-year-old that you just signed that might be protecting your quarterback and helping your run game. That just in itself would discount a team. But I think this is the Eagles' division, Stephen A. I really do.
Well, obviously I think so as well. Their offensive line is top-notch. The acquisition of A.J. Brown to go along with Devontae Smith and Reagan, those boys, the running attack with Miles Simon and the crew. Their offensive line is clearly the best in football right now. The question mark is Jalen Hurts. But at the very least, he's a playmaker who can run with the football, extend plays, and make things happen with his feet, if not his arm. Not to mention the fact that the defense is respectable. And then you take into account the default status of the rest of the NFC East. The Giants, You got a new coach in Dable who I believe in, but Daniel Jones is a question mark. I don't even like the name of the Commodores, the Commodores, rather, let alone the team, okay? And then on top of it all, you got the Dallas Cowboys.
Damn.
You're without the injured Michael Gallup. Amari Cooper's gone. Cedric Wilson is gone. Ezekiel Elliott has dissipated to some degree. Your offensive line's got injuries. I mean, it's all suspect right now. So I just think that it's the Eagles' division by default alone, and I'm very happy about it.
So are you saying it won't be easy like Sunday morning for the Commodores this Sunday? Is what you're saying, Steve?
I think it is going to be easy. It is going to be easy like Sunday morning. And I'm a Lionel Richie fan, so that's not hard for me to say.
Wow. Stephen A. ain't holding back. He ain't holding back. But here's the counter to that.
And well, listen, starting a 40-year-old left tackle does not equate to success or even comfort for Dak Prescott, but this is a quarterback league. And I got the best quarterback by far in the division. So for everybody that's predicting a Cowboy demise, and trust me, I would love to see a Cowboy demise. I'm not a Cowboy fan. I like watching Cowboy fans get all amped up and then only to be let down. But it's not going to happen this year.
Why?
It's not.
Why?
For 2 words, Dak Prescott. You've got the best quarterback in the division.
But you have a worse coach and worse roster. Is Dak going to overcome
A
all
worse
that?
coach and roster than whom?
Than Philly.
We don't know that because we, again, don't know if the quarterback can play. Like when I'm handicapping the NFC East, Dak Prescott stands on top of everyone else's
Correct.
shoulders.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
yes, it's a huge if. If Jalen Hurts can play. But I'll tell you what, if I'm a fan, I am not comfortable going into a season when I have to say if my quarterback can play. It's like saying if my co-host can co-host. Right? And yeah, we did go through a couple other guys first, and this is what we got stuck in. But I'm assuming.
So we're the Jalen Hurts of Fox Sports.
Yeah, you guys are not the Jalen Hurts of the FS1 broadcast crew, and I've got a list of 90 other guys waiting for this thing to fail miserably, and not just for co-hosts, for my spot as well.
Wow. Okay. Well, here's the thing. Everybody is picking the Eagles, and that's great. I love having the spotlight off of the Dallas Cowboys. For me, that's great. I love it. I want to hear more of that. I want everybody to think that the Eagles are that team because, you know, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. And as always, you know, we got work to do here, guys. Tomorrow night, we'll be live streaming, of course, the game. Tonight, I'll be getting with my son, Rio, Philly 500, and Cop Pizzle. We'll be doing a joint live stream. So definitely check us out. And as always, you know how we roll.
Our Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part